Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mic Check
2.
My name is Rachel.
And I'm Sean.
And we are
talking about pop culture versus healthcare and how pop culture can actually affect your determinations in how you provide healthcare for yourself.
Ooh, that sounds fancy. So let's dive into it.
What are we diving in? Just kidding. It's a running joke. I have to do it now.
We have to. So, pop culture, that's pretty much what you ingest daily, like what you see on TV, what you hear on the radio.
Video games, movies.
All of that. And some people are going to be like, I don't listen to the radio. Even in your podcast, it's like what you decide to like listen to. Like that's pop culture.
Yeah. Anything related to celebrities.
Actors.
Yeah, actors, our favorite artists, they may do something and you'd be like, oh my God, I want to, we'll use one of the most famous, we'll say Kim K, because everyone loves Kim K.
Oh, yeah.
If Kim K does something right now, I guarantee you.
It's going to shut the internet down.
It's going to shut the internet down and hundreds of little girls are going to be like, oh my God, I have to do that too. Like right now. Like, let's get this makeup. But.
Okay, whose voice was that, first of all? Let's stop. Okay. But I do totally agree. And you know what has like a heavily influence on me right now? I'm not even going to lie. I am a TikToker. You don't have TikTok? I do not.
Everyone's pushing me to start using TikTok, and I'm just like, it's so stupid.
It's really like a great platform to like get whatever like service you have offering out there, like to get your name known or things like that in that nature. I can't say that, but anyway, TikTok is really it's actually a really like informative platform if you make it that way. Like you can see a lot of like doctors using the platform to like educate patients about certain stuff.
I see cooking videos.
I
do see that.
And stuff like that. So it has us in a chokehold.
It does. And I know a big thing with healthcare that we see, I know I've seen it pop up on my reels with Instagram, is the BBLs.
Oh, yeah. That has my queens in a chokehold for sure.
For those that don't know, a BBL is what's called a Brazilian butt lift.
Yes, it is. Why did you say it like that? I don't know. So it's a surgery that women undergo to enhance their body, their lower body half. And then like there are other things like mommy makeovers and tummy tucks and all of those things. And actually recently I saw a statistic that from 2020 to 2021, it went up 37%. So it's on the rise. Like people are really in tune to getting this surgery. And a lot of risks come with it.
That's the one thing that I wish social media would do a lot more of. Well, not even, I can't just say social media. I wish influencers, I'll be more technical. I wish influencers would not just talk about the good, even though I know they're paid. A lot of these influencers are paid for these products and services. But is there anyone out there that talks about the negatives? Because you really don't see the negatives posted. So.
And it's actually funny because a lot of girls that get this, I'm not shading, but they'll come back and act like, been in the gym. Do you see those? Like they all of a sudden they're in the gym, they're working out, and they're just like, one thing I did not know when I was like kind of looking into like plastic surgery stuff was that you have to maintain this. Like it's not something that just you have the surgery and like this is like your body forever. Like if you're not going to the gym, if you're still living the same lifestyle, like you're gonna revert back to your old body. And a lot of people don't, like, even that little information, a lot of people don't know. Or, it's just like, got flew out to Miami, and that's cold for, like, they got some work done.
And even, I'll bring it up, Black China.
Oh, yeah.
So Black China, for people that don't know, she was a popular reality show influencer that was kind of tied in with the Kardashians. And she had a lot of plastic surgery done. But recently, she went on, I guess, this mental journey, and she decided she wanted to remove all of her enhancements. So she took out like the BBL, she took out the fillers, all of that. Like she's going back to like her natural self.
Right.
And so one thing that she pointed out was how
dangerous it can be. Right?
Yeah, how dangerous BBLs and plastic surgery can be because they don't really talk about that.
Right.
So you have the high risk of infections. I mean, there's a lot.
Your recovery time, like I don't even know the recovery. Like they don't really speak about those type of things And
you can't walk, and you have to lay in a bed, and you can only lay on like one side, stuff like that.
Yeah, you got to wear like a little faja, I think they call it. Like,
what's a faja?
Like it's like a it's like one of those like a waist trainers for women, but like a spandex. It's like,
okay.
Like Spankies. But like they got to like live in those things for like 3 months or something like that. It's crazy, but like with pop culture, you know, they don't talk about the risks. You like you were mentioning, you only see the benefits of it. Like, oh wow, her body now looks great. Some bodies now look great, and I feel like, you know, healthcare has like a really big, you know, like just like issue coming in and trying to like fix those issues. Like it gets a bad stigma.
Very much so, and it's all really on what you ingest. So if you're ingesting all of this and you're not trying to look at the negatives or even research the negatives, there's a lot of risk that could be involved in this.
Right. So it's just always important to really like, I say like if, you know, if that's something that you're interested in, I feel like everybody should just do what makes them happy, but like do the research. Like really like, don't just go to like Dr. Miami because of his TikTok. No shade to Dr. Miami, but like actually like research who like, the risk factors, the benefits, like the recovery time. Because, I mean, some people can be impulsive and just be like, I see Kim K, she looks great. I see Black China, she looks great. I see Cardi B,
and even that can be tied into like an insecurity factor. And that's where you may want to talk to a healthcare professional as far as like a psychiatric evaluation, because or if you want to have a therapist, like why do you feel the need to? This is just me talking.
Right.
Why do you feel the need to want to look like this person? Like what is it that you're not happy with, or what do we have to unpack to where you can feel like you're enough? Because even though we see it all the time on TV and it gets drilled in your head on a constant basis, you don't have to just jump at it.
I think that's what it is, though. Like, I feel like society and the pop culture, they set the beauty standard. So, like, that's what you see and that's what you ultimately, like, as a young girl growing up, like, that's your goal. Mm-hmm. Like, you see, like, the makeup and the hair. And even just for me, like, just wearing my hair natural, like, was, like, a whole transition. Like Troy could even say, like he had to tell me one time, like I actually like your natural hair. I would just get when I first started, just straight hair.
Do you like my natural hair?
It's beautiful, Sean. Your mane. Okay. Actually, really funny story. A lot of people may not know. Like Sean had really long hair.
Okay.
Like he showed me a picture before. We're gonna have to find that picture and just like post it on the Instagram, Troy. Like you insert Sean's photo here.
I wasn't always I showed every blue moon. I had hair down to my shoulders.
Yes.
And it was like curly. It was too much.
It was a lot. It's a lot. But like pop culture makes you feel like straight hair is better. It's actually a movie that just came out. They cloned Tyrone. Have you seen that on Netflix?
I've seen it on Netflix, and I tried to watch it, and I fell asleep. I said I was going to try to watch it again this week.
It was so good with Jamie Foxx in it. But yeah, and one of the things is just like how the perm culture, like, straight is better, straight is greater. That was their slogan. And it like really makes you think like, oh, I have to like to fit in. Like I need to fit into this.
You have to have this.
Yeah. Or I'm going to be, you know, less marketable in the job.
If I don't have a perm. Or a good set, a little
rocker. But no, like a lot of times, but I feel like in a good way, like pop culture now is like moving over to allow people to be a little bit more natural. Like on my TikTok feed, it's like curly hair girls. Like what products are we using? So that's like a little bit more helpful because like I don't know what to put in my hair. Like y'all see some days it's in here thriving and some days it's drier than the desert. But so pop culture, I feel like it's like a double-edged sword. Yeah, like it can be really beneficial for you to like. And then it can
be really bad.
And then it can influence you to do like really crazy things, like get deadly surgeries, or and you know,
even something that a lot of people may not think about it as much. But I know media and pop culture affect the way people eat. For example, like most food advertised is something that's high levels of fat, calories, sodium, sugars. And these aren't healthy to us, so I'm gonna go into my nutritional.
Your nutrition bag.
Nutrition bag. Hey, Miss Hawthorne. No, we love our nutritionist here at St. Hope, but we always see ads for fatty foods or bad foods. It's very rare you see things with salads, and you know there's recommendations to ensure pop culture affects our youth in we need to ensure that it affects our youth in a more positive way than a negative, because I know there's a lot of issues with childhood obesity. So I know a lot of times we have those recommended portions of, you know,
your food plate.
Your 6 servings of grains or your 8 to 11 servings of fruits and veggies, but you don't get that.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be transparent again. Peyton, to get her to eat, I'm just happy. So like,
so she may see, like, let's say she sees a commercial for a Happy Meal.
Yeah.
Or like, I know a lot of big thing that the kids are talking about right now, because I know my nephew asked me about it. The Grammy shake.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, have you seen the Grammy shake, Troy?
So there's a little purple. It's from the old school McDonald's, and so before they used to have Ronald McDonald, the hamburger, and the Grammy, and the Grammy was the big purple blob thingy.
Yeah, and now they got a whole milkshake after him.
So now you have kids going crazy over the Grammy shake, and I've heard it pop up, like, even when I'm like out in public, I've heard people ask their parents for the Grammy shake. It's really weird.
No, luckily she is on like kids YouTube and stuff like that, but she hasn't crossed that channel yet. I'm hoping, but she is very influential, I guess. Is that not? Because easily influenced.
Kids are easily influenced. So anything they see, I mean, even let's say from a boy standpoint, you have kids playing Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto, and now they're walking around trying to like jump into people's cars and shoot stuff randomly. It's like
it's crazy. But like I was gonna just back to the food thing. I don't know if you know this, but like McDonald's, like they put the arch very, very high. So like they're back in the day, we used to be like, so you can see it in the sky. Like everybody knew where McDonald's was because the arch, and like they were known for like having the tallest like fast food signs.
Oh, yeah.
And that just intrigues people to come in, and like, you know, your kids could see it down this mile down the street and be like, I went McDonald's. I grew up in a household, we ain't got McDonald's money. So, you know, I kind of miss some of those food trends, but
I feel
your mama had McDonald's money, didn't she? I could tell by the way you looked at
me.
We
were more of a CC's Pizza kind of family.
We went to CC's Pizza.
CC's Pizza, Poncho, yes. For our Houstonians, you know what Ponchos and CC's Pizza were. It was a staple back in the 90s.
And then, like, I feel like now, though, this generation, they're a little bit more bougie, too. Because, like, Peyton is, like, a Chick-fil-A hibachi girl. Like, it ain't McDonald's. I'll say McDonald's, and she's, like, offended. Like, excuse me? Like, not that bad.
She got it from you.
Yeah, but she's like Chick-fil-A me.
But I mean, but do you ever see healthy stuff? Does she ever ask you for like health? Like, Mom, I want to get a salad.
No.
Let's go to Salada and get something with grilled chicken and black beans and cucumber.
No, not my child. She's a fruit girl, so she'll like sub the fries for fruit, and that's like, you better be happy I did that kind of energy. Like kids are gonna eat poorly.
And even away from food, I mean, pop culture is even in like our doctor shows. So I know.
Oh yeah.
So everyone's go-to doctor show is probably what?
Grey's Anatomy.
We have Grey's Anatomy. You had House. You had Numbers. I know back when I was younger, I was huge on Nip Tuck.
Nip Tuck?
Nip Tuck was my show.
I'm trying. It sounds so familiar.
Nip Tuck was about plastic surgeons in Miami.
Okay. Oh, and their wives, they would follow the surgeons, right? Okay.
Nip Tuck was my show, but I know Grey's Anatomy and medical shows are a huge thing right now. So people love to watch operations. I know I love to watch operations. Yeah. So from what I had learned, I was reading up on it, and they actually have consultants come in. So it's not like they're just, let's figure out how to do a heart transplant on the fly and write a script. They actually have the actual doctors come in. And I know it could be a lengthy process because it's like, how do you condense a 10 to 12 hour operation into a 30-minute show?
Yeah.
And so they have to keep it like engaging and riveting. So they only show like the good parts.
Yeah, like the starting off or the heart beating.
Yeah, and like let's hold the heart in the camera. Yeah, I'm right.
Yeah,
I'm not.
So I have a question. So just related to TV shows, because y'all both kind of do like Troy does behind the scenes media, and you're like DJ. Have you ever like seen a show and like the DJ is just like doing too much? You're like, that is not even what we be doing. Like,
I see that they'll sit there and be doing stuff like this, trying to mix with their hand behind their back and trying to flip around. Now there's one I do watch.
If y'all not watching, Sean just tried to do a DJ spinaholic behind his back.
Don't judge me. But I mean, there actually is one DJ that he only has one hand, and he's extremely popular, and he DJs with literally one hand. And it's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. But I know there's sometimes it's like, come on, I know you're not really doing that because I know the ins and outs of how you're doing, like switching music and stuff. It's like, no, you're playing in my face.
So I wonder if like doctors watch like those shows and just kind of like, be for real. We
should have brought a doctor on here.
My favorite is when they on crime shows. They'll have like some audio thing going on. They'll be like, it's in the middle of a hurricane and there's a whisper in the background. They're like, can you isolate that? And then next thing you know, all you hear is a whisper and the hurricane's gone. I'm like, no, that's not physically possible.
Yeah, that's not happening. No. That's not that. Let's get. I would lose interest. Like if I knew like the ins and outs of stuff, I'd be like, oh, be for real. Like no, y'all are playing in my face. But a lot of people don't have, the eye for certain stuff, especially like medical. Like if I see a heart transplant on Grey's Anatomy, I'm like, wow, they saved that man's life.
They do.
And I now want to be a doctor on TV.
A doctor on TV. You had me at I want to be a doctor. Yeah, you added that on TV.
On TV. Oh yeah, like certified. And then it's kind of funny because like a lot of celebrities too, just to kind of go back, like they go to like Howard and get like doctorates, and it just like their lives just seem so cool. So of course, like a lot of young people want to embody that. Like who it's like the culture now is not 9 to 5. It's entrepreneurship and
TikTok reels and making money off of advertising and marketing and.
Yeah, and I love this one influencer, Monet.
Lost me.
Oh my gosh, she's so great.
Hi, Monet.
She's amazing. So she's recently too spoke about having like some mental health issues trying to keep up with content. Like so. I feel like everything you can tie everything back to healthcare. Like it's just so important to really actually like go to like a licensed professional because like TikTok is great and it can show you these things, but you do also want to make sure you're getting the correct information because I can say something.
You know what I always liked, honestly, some shows at the end of the show, they'll say, how they'll say if you want.
This was not a real.
No, like the show. I don't know if you ever watched Numbers. It was back in like the late 2006-ish era, but they would provide the show. They'd provide viewers information at the end of the show of how to become organ donors.
Oh, that's nice.
So, there was a report that came out from USC, and researchers found that many viewers of the episodes who weren't previously organ donors. They seen that information, watched the episode of how one organ donor saved the life of someone else.
Right.
And then
now they
see the information. Yeah, you see the information on how you can sign up to be an organ donor, and they're like, okay, let's call in, so you have an increase.
And I'm not sure about you, but like I saw one time like it's really bad to put like on your ID that you want to be an organ donor, because sometimes like even if you're not like at the end of it, they'll just be like, it's kind of bad enough.
They're close enough.
Yeah, they're close enough.
I think let's get that heart.
Get the heart. Timmy needs it.
I actually have that on my ID.
Yeah, no. They say they say to like whatever family member would like be making your decision like on if you're like to be resuscitated or not, you can like inform them like, hey, I would like to be an organ donor, but don't put it on your ID. Because like the black market, like I'm not saying all doctors, but some doctors are like, his life is okay, but this heart is $50K.
Girl, what?
Somebody would pay for that.
Well, when I go to the DMV, I'm gonna have them take. No.
Just tell a close friend, and they'll make sure that your wishes are fulfilled. But you're not like. I'm just telling you what I know. You can take the information. I'm gonna make a TikTok about it.
Oh my god, goodness, TikTok.
And why you shouldn't be an organ donor.
It's TikTok. I just don't understand the TikTok. I'm old.
We're
the same age.
I wanted to bring this up. I've kind of been biding my time because I want you guys to tell me what you think about it. But it's this whole idea of, and I think this maybe could be like a mental health issue or where we, bring in a Mallory or somebody to discuss something like this, because there's this whole thing of people not accepting the way they're made.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have curly hair, you want it to be straight. You got straight hair, you want it to be curly.
Yeah.
You got a small butt, you want a big butt. You got a big butt, you want a small butt. Everybody's like trying to play God with their body,
And I think that just goes to pop culture though, because it's like what you see and with like your friends in school. So like Peyton's a brown girl, but her school is a lot of not brown girls. So like
she asks questions.
We're rocking out at the house. Like we're Miley Cyrusing it up. Like
There's nothing wrong with that. I love Miley Cyrus.
I love Miley. I love Miley, but you know.
But I see what Troy's saying, because even I think I was telling you earlier, when a lot of times when people go in for plastic surgery, they have to have a mental health assessment first.
And I did not know that. Like, I want to know how intense it is, because because young women like are getting it like at 18. Like, it should kind of be like a thing. Like, you can't buy cigarettes or.
You can't buy cigarettes until you're like what, 18?
18. You
can't drink until you're 21. I think that's why a lot of people fly out, because you don't get as much of the mental health questionnaire. Like, let's say if you go out of the country, you go to Miami, because they're just trying to make that quick dollar. But a lot of times they are supposed to be giving you a mental health assessment. So if you're not happy, like I even said before, and I know Troy had touched on it just now, what is it about you that you're not happy with? Maybe we can unpack it and see why. Maybe this is time to reach into a potential therapist or a professional and just ask them, like, hey, I'm having these feelings, these thoughts, and I may not feel adequate. And I see this person over here, and they look like a statue in the
trophy-ish.
museum. Yeah. Why can't I look like that? And that's
if I get paid so I think personally, like, you know, enhancements, everybody would change something about themselves. Like, if we're just being totally transparent. Everybody.
I'm not going to lie. I don't want to go to the gym 5 days a week. I would like someone to put a needle in my belly right now and suck this fat out, and I'd be so content with life right now.
And then, like, I'd probably be. But, like, we have to remember that, like, happiness doesn't come from, like, the physical being. But I also think, to me, I think it's just alarming. And when, like, the therapist and all that should come in is when you're, like, on surgery, like, 7, and you're just like,
you're basically like a plastic.
Yeah, like, have you seen the one that, like, the guy turned himself into Ken Barbie?
I did.
Like, when it's kind of like that.
I wonder what he did for the movie.
Well, look what Michael Jackson did to his face.
Right.
He just destroyed a perfectly good face.
Nothing was wrong with his face. No. And then it was just like, I need somebody to be like, that's enough. That's enough.
Well, you know,
I think there's also an addiction factor that goes into that people.
I've heard of that.
They're hooked on it.
Like,
plastic surgery is definitely an addiction.
No, I was watching one story. One girl, like, was so hooked on the surgery, like, she even had surgery to change the way her voice sounded. Crazy.
That's weird.
Like, it's not.
I'm not gonna say it's weird. It's different.
That's different. Like, it's not really heard of, but, like, she had voice augmentation surgery. So, like, I think, like, when it's starting to get, like, you're running out of surgeries to even find, like, you're looking up the, like,
I want to get my toenails redone and have them look more narrow.
I remember on the last those toes.
Oh, she had the foot reconstruction surgery.
She did have foot, like, they were kind of like gang signing, and they got them straight for her. So I think it's just an insecurity. So, but then I know a lot of people will argue, like, it's not insecurity. I just want to do it because I want to do it. But I think pop culture, again, just plays so heavily on that.
This basically goes back to be mindful of what you watch, or be mindful of what you expose yourself to, not just on TV, but what you're listening to, what you're reading, what you're playing, even video games. One thing I really like about pop culture right now is the way people are bringing HIV awareness to the forefront.
Okay, let's talk about that.
I know at one point, I want to say it was in the late 90s or so, Charlie Sheen had opened up publicly for the first time on TV about his battle with HIV. And he felt like he was carrying the torch at the time. Because in the 90s, you know, that 90s
it was
period,
so much unknown.
It was very taboo. It was very unknown. People were barely getting medications out there. In 90, I want to say it was 87. I'm sorry, it was 87. Princess Diana even was photographed shaking an AIDS patient's hand.
And that's
in the 80s, it was like, whoa, what are you doing? And she did it without a glove on. And so at that time, people looked at HIV patients or AIDS patients as like they were diseased, and you had no clue of how the transmission would work. And we didn't know it was just through sexual contact. They could have thought you just brushed into me and
bam, yeah.
So,
oh my God, what a time to have been alive then. I would just
that was a crazy time. So when you see such an influential person, and that's before we had influencers. You had like Princess Diana. She shook this person's hand, and it was it brought to the forefront of conversation. Okay, so you didn't contract anything? No. So why didn't you contract it? Let's start to examine more and start
investigating this. Yeah.
So
who's another one that you feel like is just kind of currently now that's just putting a torch to the stigmas.
There's two. I actually have no, I have three.
Okay.
I had two. I have three. RuPaul. Mm-hmm. A lot of people who don't know RuPaul, she's considered to be one of the world's most successful drag queens.
Yes, I love the show.
And she had a show. She has a show called RuPaul's Drag Race. She brought one to the UK, and I want to say it was a couple of seasons ago. Mm-hmm. And she had one of the girls. Her name was Charity Case, and she brought to the forefront her story. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people watch Drag Race. So even though I know a lot of people in our LGBTQIA plus community watch Drag Race, but some people don't want to get tested. Some people still to this day don't have stories that they can relate to of HIV. So when you hear someone on this pedestal, Drag Race, talking about her story of how she contracted the virus, how she's taking medication, how she's dealing with it, and how times are hard, because she kept it very transparent. She was very open and real about it. It was hard for her to date. It was she would get on dating apps and she would put on there yes, I am HIV positive, and people would make fun of her and they would bash her, but she brought it to the forefront. So it gives you an idea of yes, this is what people really go through.
Right.
But if you take your medication again, you're okay. Pose.
Oh, that's my show.
Love me some Pose.
I love me some Pose.
Love Pose. Did we talk about Pose before? I remember we brought it up.
Yeah.
Pose was a show based. Each season they started, I think, in the 80s and it went to the 90s and then the 2000s.
It's a season 3?
Yes. It was the last season.
Okay.
But
I'm behind the season. Oh, my goodness.
It's on Hulu.
Okay.
But they basically talked about the ballroom culture in New York. And a lot of people at the time were struggling with HIV and AIDS. And they brought it to the forefront. Back in the 80s, there was very little healthcare. They barely had medications for people.
Right.
So they were showing what the end results could be if you weren't taking
your medications. Yeah.
And in the 90s, they showed how medical advances started to move along, and you've seen people starting to take medications. You've seen people talk to case managers, and they're finally getting assistance.
Right.
And the characters in that show, I truly felt they challenged the lack of access to healthcare. And there was perspectives in the U.S. in the 80s and 90s of how people gay and lesbian people, especially if they had HIV and AIDS, they had no healthcare opportunities.
Right. Oh, yeah, it was very...
They brought it to the forefront.
Yeah.
And I loved it. But, it just makes you just think about, wow, how far we've come, especially, now when you can go to a doctor's office and I can get a 30-day Biktarvy or...
Yeah. Descovy, whatever.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can get medication. You just have a good, healthy lifetime for the rest of your life as long as you remain healthy, exercise, eat great.
Yeah, and take your medications.
So that's a...
Did you finish answering that question? Because I thought there were 3.
Oh, no. Oh, have you... there's a show on Netflix called Sex Education.
Yeah.
So... Troy's looking at me what? So... There is a show called Sex Education. It's so fun. I love it. It's really good.
They got you blushing. It's so good.
It did. Because, back then, when we were in school, we had sex ed.
Yeah.
But you only really learned about the birds and the bees, and you learned about condoms, and that was it. It wasn't really...
They showed you a little slide of STDs, and then
we showed you a slide
signed off on your paper and got out of there.
Yeah, that was it. So Sex Education, they had an episode. Oh, goodness. I lost my... But they basically talked about HIV prevention. Mm-hmm. But they didn't just talk about HIV prevention. They talked about the importance of getting tested.
Love that.
And they even went into PrEP. And you don't really hear shows right now or celebrities talking about, hey, I'm on PrEP. So you see this show on Netflix. Everyone's on Netflix.
Everyone, yeah.
Netflix and chill. Let's watch. We watching Sex Education, and all of a sudden you see this scenario or this scene,
and it helps get conversation started. I feel right?
Yeah, it'll help you. It's a good conversation starter. So you have the doctor. I remember we had a young student, and he was talking to his teacher, and they're talking, and he was talking about how he's sexually active, and sometimes he doesn't always use protection. Mm-hmm. So the teacher was actually telling him about the positives of PrEP. So that's how pop culture, like I said, it's all of what you ingest. So that's something you could ingest. And if, let's say people are at home and they don't talk about PrEP and they're having risky sex, as we've called it before. Mm-hmm. you see an episode like that and it brings up the conversation, like, maybe we should get on prep. Let's try to research. Let's
get tested even.
Yeah, let's go to the doctor. Let's get tested and see what's prep about.
Yeah, I do think that pop culture is like moving in a positive way because like I'm saying, like TikTok is my Google now. So I'm just like massive headache and like everybody has it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm fine. But like, I do still think that it's very important to still see a physician, a licensed professional, because like, I mean, you know, when you Google something, this is your last day. That's it. You got a headache, go ahead and call your grandma. This is it.
Baby, I had a friend, actually it happened yesterday.
Uh-oh.
He texted me because he just got a vaccine done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, vaccine. He was like, I think I'm going to die. And I'm like, why?
According
He's
to
like,
TikTok.
So I went on Google and I looked up the side effects, and he literally sent me like a paragraph and had like little check marks of all of his sites. Like, my stomach hurts. I'm having headaches. I'm having cramps. I'm having diarrhea.
And this is all bad.
He's like, this is all bad. That means this is the end. Like, I need to see something right now. I'm like, okay. This is where I do my blank stare. And I'm just like, okay.
Let's reel it in. Let's calm down. Let's calm down.
Let's get off of WebMD.
Let's calm down.
Let's not self-diagnose.
But so I do feel like shows that are moving forward and things like that are really, really great because it does give you, it gets the conversation started, in my opinion. Like if I'm watching something like that, age appropriately for like Peyton to like have the conversation started, because the school is only going to teach your kids so much. Like you really have to have the real conversation with them because a lot can happen, as we know. But I just think that pop culture, it's just the negative and the positive. Like you do have to be,
what you ingest.
Yeah, like you have to be mindful of like what you're listening to, what you're reading, even so, like what celebrities you're gonna follow. Like I just recently had to get off Instagram because I felt, true story, I was like, oh, I just feel like I'm missing out on stuff. I'm like in, early 30s and have a baby, and I feel like I'm missing out. Like, but Instagram will make you feel like you're not hitting milestones and you're missing out on things. So I had to just kind of be like, let me just take a break and like get back to self, because like the physical.
You're always seeing negatives.
Yeah, like you're always seeing negatives. Like, oh, of course you're gonna be upset. You're 8 hours into your 10-hour workday and somebody's just like on a jet in Dubai. You're like, oh God.
Right. Well, once again, you're comparing your life to somebody else's life, and the only part of their life that you're actually seeing
is the good,
is the exciting highlights, right?
Right.
Like if you post your exciting highlights, somebody's over going, "Man, Rachel's got it made over there," and I'm,
Yes, that's another reason, because I wanted them.
Because you want to be on a plane.
Because nobody posts,
and then
their mundane stuff, right?
And then when you do kind of post the negative stuff, people are just like, "Woe is me." Here they go. Like it's not as like welcoming. Or some people post like the bad stuff to get more views. Like you're not even going through anything, and you're trying to be relatable.
You're trying to get that shock value.
Yeah. So it's just like very important to just be mindful of like what you're ingesting. And then like recently, I know Jeremy made a point too about like a lot of like stuff is only targeted to certain demographics. And like recently, like they're starting to even like include for healthcare like different skin types of like when you're testing and different things of that nature, because it is why are you looking at me like that?
Things of that nature.
Oh my God, I did it again. Ding, 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 ding.
You get one things of that nature per episode.
And I've already used two, so scratch that. But I do think it's important because it's moving forward, and a lot of places, it was known that it was a study done, and they considered that African American people had a higher tolerance for pain. And so people didn't really do much more research on it and things of that nature. God.
I think you did it on purpose that time.
Yeah, that was a ding, ding, ding. All right, start me over. Reverse. Okay, so according to Jeremy made a good point too as well. Shout outs to Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy.
About just seeing different things. In healthcare, you really only have white, what am I trying to say?
Like different, you can't, different pigments of skin tones can react differently to different types of medical.
Yes, so they recently did a survey, and now they're coming out with more books to kind of be more inclusive of different cultures and races and things like that. Because it was a study done that, allegedly African Americans had a higher tolerance pain. So sometimes when they're coming into the healthcare field, the doctor is a little bit more reluctant to give them like pain meds, or it's just like a bad stigma around those things. So I think if like pop culture and healthcare can kind of get on the same page with that, like it would be a game changer.
I think so too. I wish more celebrities. I wish more artists would do things. I know we have like artists do things like Global Citizen, but I wish artists and celebrities would do more in healthcare.
Right.
So I always tie stuff back to HIV. Don't ask me why.
Yeah.
But like Christina Aguilera and Jennifer Hudson ended up headlining a World AIDS Day event, and they brought to the forefront like awareness. Right. Or a long time ago, I won't say a long time ago, a few years ago, and I know St. Hope actually was a part of it. There was an event that was called Hip Hop Testing for HIV by BET. And what BET would do, they would go to different HBCUs and they would promote HIV and STD testing, but they would also have like
a concert.
So if you got tested, you got a ticket to the concert. And I remember that used to be like on our radio stations here in Houston.
Oh, that was a big thing.
You go get tested. You get a ticket to see this person and this rapper.
And it was like a great lineup. We don't do that no more.
And it wasn't like no B, C list. Like it was like these are real popular.
Like Lil Wayne headline.
Like top 40 headliners. So I wish we had more.
Bring that back, kind of.
Yeah, we brought that back in because we don't have that anymore.
And then like now people, it's just kind of some stuff is more glamorized on TV, but like it's not really the education part of like, I know like at the end of some TV shows they'd be like, if you're feeling suicidal, please call this number. But that's all great, but I do think that testing should be more in just like different cultures and what we experience, and like that I would love to see that on TV.
I've got a question for you, Sean.
Hit me.
Hit me.
So do you think, and I'm just asking, it just came into my mind, like, do you think it's because there are so many more available treatments for HIV now that the big corporate names, the big groups that, would promote these testing events, they're like, oh, it's not that big a deal anymore. Has it diffused down as far as to where they don't feel like they're going to get their little bang for their butt by promoting it?
That's a good question.
That's a toughie because I mean, even though we have a lot more access to healthcare and there's a lot more options out there, like even here in Houston, we have multiple places. Like we have St. Hope and you have other organizations and stuff that do testing. Yeah, that's a tough one.
But I think it would still be beneficial.
I would still think it would be beneficial because, I mean, you want to know your health statuses. You want to know, like...
Because it was more... Those type of events were targeted towards, like, a certain age and population. So, like, at, like, 16, I wasn't thinking about getting HIV tested. But I could go see Lil Wayne, like... I'm going to go down there and get a free ticket.
And, and everything nowadays is brought to the table. So, I mean,
right.
Everything's topic for discussions and like nothing's left to be that's the great thing about this time and this age is nothing's really taboo anymore. But that's a tough one.
Well, and I'm just coming at it from the money side of being a corporate entity that wants your name out there. You want to put on a big event because it puts your name. You get free advertising for it, right?
Yeah, you get free advertising, and even if you're testing, you could possibly be going out to get grants.
But now it's like more seen on like commercials and stuff. Like back when we were growing up.
Oh, we Hulu.
We didn't have
Hulu
commercials. Yeah,
Hulu's really good for, and I swear.
So they probably just remarketed to be more affordable for them, and like they're playing on all the ads, YouTube ads. Like they're like. I guess this generation is just a little different. Like we were a little bit more like outside, I guess, and like the generation coming up is more like internet.
Digital. They're more digital. So like even Hulu, if you watch Hulu, I can guarantee you money.
Oh, I know the commercial too.
You watch a Hulu series and let's say you have the commercials in your plan. you are guaranteed to see some kind of medication pop up on your screen.
No doubt.
Yeah.
If you want to cure this, if you want to now, just remember you may die. You may have all these side effects, but it'll cure this one thing.
Yeah, but your allergy, you ain't gonna sneeze when you go outside.
You won't sneeze, but you'll probably have a heart attack tomorrow. But I promise you're gonna see
one of your eyes might fall out.
Yeah.
Your skin won't itch anymore.
But did you sneeze?
That part. But I promise
Problem
you.
solved.
So yeah, I would think now everything's more digital because, like I said, you can go like on Hulu. I know it happens a lot on Hulu. It does happen on like some of the other streaming services. I know Hulu. I always 100% of the time, it never fails. I see some kind of medication somewhere.
Yeah, YouTube too. You're gonna get a YouTube ad about. Is your back hurting?
Yeah.
We got something for that. Come on down.
So and it's all up, and you ingest that because it gets drilled. Like, let's say if I see a commercial repeatedly for Biktarvy, or if I see a medication repeatedly for Triumec for PrEP,
right?
And you're steadily seeing it every single day. At some point, it's gonna be like, okay,
let me look into this.
Let me Google what this pill does. Let me Google what doctors prescribe it. Let me see how I can set up an appointment with this doctor so I can talk to them about it.
Yeah, and now I don't have to pay $1 million to throw on an event.
And now I don't have to pay $1 million anymore.
Yeah, and I'm just putting it on YouTube ads. So that's probably just the difference. So it's all about what you ingest.
What you ingest. That's my hashtag. I want to make my first hashtag ever because Rachel always does it. So my hashtag is ingest. It's all about what you ingest.
That's not how the hashtags work. It's like a phrase. Like you can't just hashtag one word.
You got to use the whole phrase.
Yeah.
What you ingest.
Hashtag what you ingest. You just burst my bubble. I was trying.
Bing.
But yeah, it's all about what you ingest at the end of the day, it's good, bad.
Yeah. So key takeaways: just be mindful of what you're actually watching, what you're allowing your children to watch, because it does influence you. And for me, education and research. Like before you make a permanent decision off a temporary emotion, research.
Yeah, definitely research. If you have questions, make sure you check with your doctor. If you don't feel, if you feel some kind of weird, I don't know how to put it the correct technical way, but if you're feeling like you may not be equaling up to, or you're starting to have these thoughts of why you
inadequacy or something.
Yeah, inadequacies. Reach out to a possible therapist or a mental health provider and see why you may be feeling this before you take any kind of drastic measures.
Right.
Because some of these things,
it's okay to like do your TikTok stuff or whatever, but also just
thoroughly research.
Thoroughly
research. Look at the good and the bad. Because like I said, with the Black China thing, even though she was so pro plastic surgery, she went and got all that stuff removed, and she finally opened up and became more transparent and talked about how it was unhealthy and how she didn't feel well. Yeah, the bad stuff.
And she got it like 19.
And she started early, and she looks so good now.
Yeah, just imagine making a permanent decision at 19. I would be, no comment. But your 19-year-old self making some decisions right now?
But she looks so.
No, I'm saying, how would your 19? What would your life be like if you let that 19-year-old drive that car?
I would probably be in a rock band, jumping off of a stage somewhere, crowd surfing for the rest of my life.
Oh, 19.
At 19, who knows? I was a mess.
I'd probably be in Nacogdoches. Shout outs to SFA. No goals, no dreams, party life. Yeah, yikes.
The good old
I could not imagine making a decision to get plastic surgery at 19. So I'm just glad that she's probably just taking a step back and realizing the good and the bad. But at 19, I wasn't worried about research.
You just wanted to look like the first TikTok influencer,
and this person has money. I want to have money.
If I look like this, maybe I'll get sponsorships and be asked to advertise for their product and make money. Money is the root of all evil. Mm-hmm. So in essence, basically, again, just thoroughly research what you're getting yourself into. I know everyone has their favorite celebrities, their favorite shows, and you may see things that affect your health care. You may see things that make you want to eat unhealthy all the time. You may want to get plastic surgery. You may be unsure. You may watch House or Grey's Anatomy. You're curious about things as far as what could happen with high blood pressure and stuff. So that's when you really want to check with your actual medical professional before doing anything. So we do offer those. We have medical professionals. We have licensed medical professionals. Psychiatric professionals. So if you have questions about any kind of therapy needs, or even if you want to talk to someone about eating habits, we have nutritionists, excuse me.
Right.
All you have to do is schedule an appointment with us. We are available.
Because I'm definitely going to go see Dr. McKinney and be like, according to TikTok, get some answers.
Remember when she looked at you crazy when you had did that?
Yeah, but I need some answers.
So yeah, there's nothing wrong with going to a doctor. If you see something on social media and you have questions, reach out to a doctor and just ask, set up an appointment. There's nothing wrong with asking. No such thing as a dumb question.
That's true.
The dumbest question is no question. That was so childish. That was so childish.
Hashtag.
So yeah, just make sure if you'd like to come to St. Hope and you want to get information on PrEP or more just HIV awareness, feel free to schedule an appointment. You can visit us at offeringhope.org. You can call us at 713-778-1300, where we're always here to help you. And just remember, here at St. Hope Healthcare, you're more than just a number.